In this video, we're going to see how we can find the area under the normal distribution curve given either z-values or data values along with the mean and standard deviation. So this question says, assume that a randomly selected subject is given a bone density test. Those test scores are normally distributed with a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. Find the probability that a given score is less than negative 1.57 and draw a sketch of the region. So this particular question and the questions we're about to look at after this all have a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. That means that it's the standard normal distribution and that we're talking about z-scores when we talk about the values associated with it. However, it's important to know that these steps will work for any normally distributed population. It does not have to be the standard normal population. The mean can be anything, the standard deviation can be anything, and you'll just update the mean and standard deviation to whatever it is for the particular problem on any problem where they are different. So the first thing it's asking us to do is sketch the region that we're talking about by choosing the correct graph below. So remember, a normal distribution is a bell-shaped curve where the mean is directly in the middle, right where the highest point of the curve appears. So here, all of these graphs in letter A through D show a normal distribution where 0 would be right in the center, right where the highest point of that peak of the curve goes. So we're trying to find the probability, that's just another way of saying the area under the curve, the blue shaded regions, that a given score for the bone density is less than negative 1.57. So if 0 is right in the middle of this graph, then negative 1.57 should be a little bit to the left of that, right? A little bit to the left of 0. The axis down at the bottom is just like a number line where the numbers get bigger as you go from left to right. And then we want to know the probability of being less than negative 1.57. So letter B is going to be the correct answer here because we can see the negative 1.57 labeled in the appropriate spot, left of center, and we have shaded the area to the left less than that. So now we actually want to find what that probability is. To do this, we're going to go to Excel. So we'll open Excel, and to get to the formula we need, we're going to go to Formulas, More Functions, Statistical, and we're going to go all the way down to the end section, and we're going to look for norm.dist, Norm.dist. So they're asking us for a few different things here. The first thing they ask us for is an x value. So that means the data value that we're trying to use as like a marker on our graph. So in this case, the data value was negative 1.57. That was the value of interest to us in this particular question. Then we need to know the mean. In this question, the mean was 0. Then we need the standard deviation. In this case, the standard deviation was 1. Just to reiterate, in this video, the mean and standard deviation happen to be 0 and 1 for all the examples, but it doesn't have to be that way. If the mean and standard deviation were different, you just enter whatever the numbers are provided for those two values here and here, and it should work exactly the same. Finally, for cumulative, we're going to type true, because we do want to get the cumulative area, the entire area to the left of this point. So we click OK. And this area right here now, this is giving us the area to the left of negative 1.57. It's important to know that Excel is always giving you the area to the left of the value that you put in that x field whenever you use this function. So here we're looking for that probability, that's this number, and we wanted to round to 4 decimal places. This has more than 4 decimal places right now, so if we want to change that, we can go to the home key and then to this little button right here and take it down until we have 4 decimal places. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0.0582 is our answer. Now here's a similar question. Now we're trying to find the shaded region from the point negative 1.04 but to the right of that value. So it's going to be the same function in Excel. We're going to go to Formulas, More Functions, Statistical, and down to the norm dist. This time the value we're interested in was negative 1.04. The mean again was 0, and the standard deviation was 1. And again, we're going to put true. So we're given this value here, but again, this is the area to the left of negative 1.04. But in the question, let's move this over so we can see it all together. This question was not asking us for the area to the left of negative 1.04. This was asking us for the area to the right of 1.04. So we have to find the complement of this number in order to find the correct value. Finding the complement is very easy. All we have to do is take this number and subtract it from 1. So you can either do that in your calculator. You could also do it as a new cell here by making your own formula. When you make your own formula, you start with an equal sign and do 1 minus, and then you can just click on that cell that has the number you want to subtract and hit enter. The other thing you can do is do it all on one line. So back up here, you see that the norm dist function that we put in is actually right here. It starts with an equal sign, which means it's a function. If you prefer, you can put your cursor right there and just go 1 minus right within that cell and hit enter, and you will get the same thing. So this is the answer to this one. And again, we want, I believe, 4 decimal places. Let's see. 4 decimal places. So we go to the home, and we're going to change this to be only 4 decimal places. So 0.8508 is the area to the right of the negative 1.04, and therefore it is the probability of being greater than negative 1.04. This question now is asking us to find the area between two values. So when we have to find the area between two values, we're basically going to have to do what we just did twice. Again, the norm dist function will only give us the area to the left of a particular value. So we're going to have to find the area to the left of the 1.23, which means from here and all the way forever to the left. Then in a new line, we're going to have to find the area of the negative 0.82, which is the area from here and all the way to the left. And then we're going to subtract the two. Basically this big area here from 1.23 and to the left, and then subtract off this section here that we didn't want, which is the part less than negative 0.82. So let's see how that works. First, let's find the area to the left of the 1.23. We do that the same way we did before. Formulas, more functions, statistical, norm dist. This time the x is 1.23, the mean is 0, the standard deviation is 1, cumulative is true. Now we can find the area to the left of the negative 0.82. That's going to be formulas, more functions, statistical, norm dist. This time negative 0.82 is the x, the mean is 0, the standard deviation is 1, cumulative is true. And for the area between negative 0.82 and 1.23, we are basically going to take this bigger area and subtract off the smaller area. So we can do that by making a new function starting with an equal sign. We're going to take the bigger number, so we just click on that number to pull in the value in that cell, in cell D8, and we're going to subtract off the smaller number, like that, and just hit enter. So this is the area between between negative 0.82 and positive 1.23. Again, We want 4 decimal places for that, so we go to the home key and hit this button until we have our 4 decimal places. So 0.6845 is the area between those two values. In other words, it is the probability of being between those two values.